If you watched the 2024 NBA All-Star Game, you probably noticed that despite scoring 397 points between both teams, many fans were unimpressed. A couple days later, I just happened to get a suggested video in my feed on YouTube, and it was the 1987 NBA All-Star Game. I watched that. I've seen it many times before as a teenager, but I was in shock after watching that, the contrast, and so that's why I had to make this video today. So in this video, I'm going to show you how over the last 37 years, NBA defense intensity has gone from this
You shall not pass!
to this.
After you. Oh, no, you first. I couldn't think of it.
Quick disclaimer before we start. I may be a grumpy old man, but my goal with this video is not just to bash modern day players and say how much better things used to be. I'm sure you've heard that before. I actually love watching NBA basketball today. I'm a big fan of many players. They're incredible athletes, so talented, great shooters. I mean, there's so many great things about them, but you have to admit there's something missing these days. So let's go ahead and compare some moments from the 87 All-Star Game versus the 2024 game and watch for what things jump out at you. Okay, the first thing is points in the paint. Check out Kareem and Lambert fighting for position here in the post. Then you've got Moses Malone and Joe Barry Carroll. Moses Malone trying to cut across the lane. Check out the welcome he gets when he tries to do that.
With a big run, open up a lead. West coming back. Malone and Joe
Got
Barry
some
Carroll.
vintage Dr. J. On this next play, just watch Tom Chambers shove Malone. Then we got some more battling for position between Chambers and Moses. Kareem and Moses. Kareem swinging elbows. And you got Barkley fighting for the ball. When's the last time you saw multiple cases of throwing bows in an All-Star game? Another thing that surprised me is how many blocked shots there were in this game. Even Jordan was getting rejected on this.
Jordan has a shot blocked. 54 to 53 West.
Then you got Moses Malone denying Chambers.
Batted away.
Even Barkley's not safe from getting swatted.
Magic finds Chambers.
Now let's compare that intensity to some highlights from the game a couple weeks ago. So many of these players are players just going length of the court, no one even contesting it. Just throwing a lob, two defenders down there, don't even put their hands up. There's another great example of Matador defense getting out of the way. Giannis getting his way with no resistance.
No resistance for Giannis Antetokounmpo. George runs it, sets it up for LeBron.
Check this out. Luka gets the rebound. Nice D. Slow motion layup. There were so many examples of people just jogging up and down the court leisurely the whole game. No intensity, no defense. One thing I kept thinking of when I'm watching these plays is when there's a kid with a terminal illness and they do a make-a-wish type thing for him so he gets to play with a professional team and they let him score a touchdown. The defensive intensity totally reminded me of this when I was watching this All-Star game. Okay, if we go back to the 80s, another thing you see is no easy shots. Again, you got Barkley getting smothered on this play. They're not letting him score.
Bird said yesterday this game is more physical than a regular season game because they let you get away with more. Blackman, they have lost 6 of the last 7.
Check out this next play. Dominique's going down. He's going to have a flashy dunk. Nope. He's going to foul him. How about this? Hakeem, easy dunk. Nope. Dr. J says no to that. No one was scoring an easy bucket in these games. I was surprised how many hard fouls there were. There was a lot of time spent at the free throw for each team. And the biggest difference people will probably notice between these eras is the three-point shot. Now, I think threes can be very exciting, but again, in this game, it was just people jacking up threes from all over the court, very little resistance. I mean, some of these were impressive shots. It's just kind of like a three-point shooting contest on the game. Dame's even putting them up from half court, made a couple of those. And it just got ridiculous. Here's Luka shooting a three-quarter shot. Who knows why? I couldn't help but notice the difference in these games with the effort, especially defensive effort on here. Check out the intensity here. There's players diving for loose balls. This is James Worthy running full court, getting a full head of steam. Isaiah takes a charge. You don't see that very often. On the final play, Rolando Blackman's driving in against Bird, Dr. J, Isaiah, and Jordan. They're not going to let him score on that. He ended up making some free throws, kind of sending it to overtime. This next play says so much. Look at Larry Bird, how ticked off he is. They blew a lead and lost. He's not happy about that. He's throwing the ball out in the stands. This game was the highest scoring NBA All-Star game in history up until that time, and they did it despite having so many fouls and being so physical and having so much defense. So that says a lot. So the frustrating thing for me watching this game was seeing that these current players, I know they're all better than that. They can pick up the intensity if they want to, but they just don't have the motivation for the All-Star game. You can tell some of these players don't even want to be there. They see it as more of an inconvenience than an honor. That reminds me, last year in an interview, someone was asking John Morant if he'd be in the dunk contest, and he said, no, maybe if they'd sweeten the pot to $1 million, then he'd think about it.
Show me the money.
Money, please.
These guys make so much money that it can be hard to motivate them for something like this. I can understand some of the players have concerns about not wanting to get injured during the All-Star break. I'd love to see more intensity out of them, but I know that's a lot to ask of these professional athletes who are only making $40, $50, $60 million a year for playing basketball.
Picking up your sarcasm.
Well, I should hope so, because I'm laying it on pretty thick.
I'd love to see a return to the old days when NBA players play the All-Star game with intensity, they're competitive with defense, when they have personal pride to fuel them instead of just money. Join me next week for another video. I hope it'll be better than this one.
Push the button.
Do it.